Order. First off, can we have a confirmation of a quorum and the publication and posting of document? First item on the agenda is the meeting minutes of June 9, 2025. And members have been provided with the draft of those minutes. Any comments or questions on the minutes? Questions? No, hearing none. How about a motion on the minutes? Motion to approve the minutes. I'll second. All right, those in favor of adopting the minutes of June 9, 2025, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. This item is the consent agenda on the claims presented at this meeting. I think we've been provided with the spreadsheet on the claims, comments or questions from the members on the claim.
And big debt service and rent claims, so lots of debt, or lots of payments out.
What about them?
Yeah.
What about them? How about a motion on the claim? Second. Those in favor of adopting the consent agenda on the claim, signify by saying aye. Motion carried. First action item here is a public hearing, a resolution of the Fisher's RDC, and confirming a declaratory resolution establishing the Great Eagle Economic Development Area and related allocation areas in the city of Fisher, and approving an economic development plan for the same. Megan, if you tell us about the resolution and this project.
Sure. So as a reminder, the Gray Eagle project at 126th Street and Brook School Road, this was approved in 2021, an amended project agreement, came back to you all late last year, I believe, just extending the outside closing dates and timelines for the project to be able to move forward. So the project is split into two pieces. One is the golf course clubhouse. So the existing golf course, which is privately owned, has a smaller clubhouse that they've been wanting to update, and a significant amount of improvements that need to be made to the golf course itself. So if you recall from when this first came forward in 2021, a church had proposed that they go there. The golf course wanted to sell the property to them, and not have to maintain that asset anymore since golf courses were struggling. So in turn, they partnered with J.C. Hart on this project. So the clubhouse and improvements to the golf course is one piece of this. The second part is J.C. Hart with the age-targeted multifamily project that has a mix of paired patio homes, a traditional multifamily kind of apartment building, a lot of amenities that make it then a multifamily golf course development. The proceeds of the TIF, so it's a developer purchase TIF. The proceeds are split between the multifamily as well as the golf club, the golf course and clubhouse. The series are broken up as well, where there is one bond is specifically for the clubhouse piece of all of it. Their intention is in August, once they close on their bonds and their construction loan at the same time, they begin filing for permits and start demoing the clubhouse shortly thereafter, start going vertical and doing site improvements on the portion of the golf course that the Thompson family owns. The golf course is conveying to J.C. Hart. So that's the background of it. Again, since there are two separate projects, there's two different allocation areas that are within this EDA. So this item in particular is finalizing and having a public hearing for the dedication of both those allocation areas into the EDA that then ultimately are what are paying debt service. Jennifer or Lisa, anything that I missed on this first item? Not have anything to add?
And I think you guys have talked about it. You've seen it before. Everything's pretty straightforward on this one. So two new areas.
Do members have any comments or questions regarding this particular project and the resolution we're going to be asked to vote on?
Just like to see it moving forward.
Yeah.
All right, well, procedurally, I think the next step is to open the public hearing on this proposed resolution, declaratory resolution establishing the Gray Eagle development area and the area allocation area. And approving the economic development plan. Are there any members of the public here who wish to address this particular resolution?
Yes,
If you could identify yourself for the record, please.
Matthew Brands, 9446 Ashley Lane. So this is a $5.25 million tax increment going to a golf course and a multifamily development. The city, looking at the first finding of facts, thinks we can expand any business enterprise and that qualifies. I think they're wrong. It clearly says major business enterprise, significant business enterprise. And I don't think there's any evidence this golf course is a significant business enterprise. And they don't make any other argument in the alternative. I assume you all got my written comment that I submitted. That sent to you guys.
I can't speak for the other members, but I have not.
No, I haven't either.
I'm sorry, repeat your question.
The comment that
Oh.
was submitted to, you actually submitted it to the commission, not to the individual members. So this was the question concerning facilities. We can read it aloud if you'd prefer.
No,
Oh, do you
I
have
submitted one on the city website
For RDC?
for RDC on Saturday, 1 p.m. What did I go to?
I'm not the IT director, so happy to,
Okay, well,
happy
I don't know
to,
if you guys, I assume you accepted written comments and it's literally what your website says, so I think you got some serious public access problem there. Anyway, I guess I'll just discuss what I was gonna say.
Well, let me ask you what, are you familiar with what he's talking about, Megan? What his question is about significant
Yes,
business
No,
enterprise?
so-
explains you didn't get a copy either, so that's why you didn't understand that, you didn't understood everything. Yeah, okay, I get it now. So,
yeah, I don't know about it, so please proceed with your comments and then we can.
Also too, I would invite you, if you have the information, you submitted it, since you're actually here, we could just talk about it in this meeting if you still have it. So feel free to.
yeah, it's
go
right
ahead.
here. I have a copy.
Go ahead.
I can give it to the clerk after.
Well, this is your opportunity for the public hearing. So since you're here, typically comments that are submitted would be addressed, but you're actually here to address them. So you can go ahead and just tell us what was submitted and then we'll respond to that.
So anyway, if you all read the economic development plan that was attached to this agenda item, the city thinks any new business enterprise is acceptable, but I think the act is very clear that it's major new business enterprise or a significant business enterprise. And they make no argument as to how that is satisfied. How many jobs are being saved? How many new jobs are going to be created at these two developments? What is the salary and benefits of those jobs? We got a jobs report, I think it was last Friday, they released it. We had less than one business day to consider the jobs report. And I brought it up at the last meeting. It seems entirely bogus to me. They didn't even respond to that at the last meeting. What else? The city simply hasn't told us what the economic benefits are from this project, and there should be quantitative economic benefits. Next thing, the last finding of fact, the plan for the area conforms to other development and redevelopment plans for the city. The city just went ahead and said, yeah, it conforms to everything. Plan commission went ahead and said, yeah, it conforms to everything. I think if you look at the comprehensive plan, it's really clear. There's no multifamily development called for in this area. It clearly doesn't conform to the comprehensive plan. And the city just doesn't explain. If they gave us a really good reason to ignore it, you know, maybe I could accept that, but they'd rather just ignore it. And I think that's the most important thing, right? Is what we are subsidizing, what we're giving $5.5 million to, should work towards the comprehensive plan because it's gonna be there forever. The golf course, once they build this new clubhouse, like their obligation is done, right? That tax increment is pledged, it's gone forever to pay the bonds. And the golf course a few years down the road could fail anyway. During the finance committee last week, one of the counselors was questioning what happens if the golf course fails anyway. Well, multifamily development isn't going anywhere. I'm sure leasing apartments in Fisher is gonna be profitable forever. So you're stuck with that forever. And I don't think anyone living around this wanted multifamily development. We're just tolerating it to save the golf course. So there's a risk a few years from now, golf course, if nobody wants to play golf, nobody likes the restaurant, it could fail. They could hire barely anyone. But you're stuck with the multifamily development forever. And why are we paying for something that a comprehensive plan says we don't want? So this is not redevelopment because the golf course is going to stay a golf course. And it's also not economic development worthy of government intervention, in my opinion. Constructing new bathrooms next to the 9th green is not going to benefit anyone except the golf course owner and the HOA residents who want a golf course in the back there. Tax increment financing is an incredibly powerful tool that should be used in a responsible manner. The guardrails attached to the process should count for something. This proposal twists it into an all-purpose vehicle to provide extensive property tax relief to a luxury recreational amenity with no evidence of significant job creation or retention. The commission should reject it. All I have to say.
Do the members have any comments or questions of the gentleman with respect to his comments on the proposed resolution?
I get confused easy, so if I repeat something back to you that's incorrect, please let me know what you said. You were talking about a big significant economic impact. And the only thing you were looking at was the salaries that were going to the employees who work there. Did you figure in the gross revenue? And I'm not a golfer, so I've never been on the course. Did you figure in the gross revenues of what that property brings in? I assume they're paying property taxes in that area. I do remember, I'm going back quite a few years. There was a project on that particular piece of property that I think was a church. And I did not realize at that point in time that the golf course actually goes into that neighborhood. And it's a significant economic development tool or a benefit of living in that neighborhood or selling your home if you're in that neighborhood. So were all those things taken into your consideration when you were looking at, but, and I'm not saying it is or isn't. I'm just wondering how you came up with your conclusion.
Well, I would say the city gave us one sentence basically in the economic development report. As their explanation, and I can read that sentence. The plan will expand an existing business enterprise by improving the Gray Eagle Golf Course and will attract new business enterprises by improving an amenity. You know, I don't know how it attracts new business enterprises, and I don't consider residential property values to be relevant to whether this is a significant business enterprise.
Okay, that's a question. Okay. When you talk about the comprehensive plan, are you referring to the 2040?
Yeah.
Plan? So I was on the steering committee that helped formulate that plan. One of the things that we did as part of that process is we went out, we looked at a lot of housing options in the city. We met with a lot of residents, and at that time, what we identified was that there was a shortage of viable housing options for aging population in the city of Fishers and people who were moving into a phase where they were becoming empty nesters and they wanted to downsize. So I'm curious if your analysis evaluates the benefit of having options for aging population to downsize out of homes and move into this type of property and the economic impact of keeping those residents in Fishers versus moving to Carmel or other locations.
Well, I think residential development in general is not economic development, and it's an economic development bond. So I think right out there, it's just the wrong category of improvement. I think this has been sold as sort of a luxury thing too. I mean, retired people. I mean, I don't think it's exactly people looking to downsize. I don't know. I don't see it that way. And I think the comprehensive plan, the land use designations on that plan are very clear about what should go there and what should not go there. Yeah.
So I'll speak to the comprehensive plan because I can't remember, Matthew, what you were saying. What is the specific question, or that it was just the comments? But in our comp plan, that is a breathing, living document that was created. So the entitlements are in place for this development, have been since 2021. So again, I think similar to the comments from the EDC meeting. I think a lot of these questions about the policy of if this project should even go, probably the best place for you to be able to share those would have been at Plan Commission or Community Committee or City Council during that time, when those were being initially considered. The comp plan does show it as parks and open green space, but can we update that every single year? So I'll make sure that we have that adjusted correctly on our side.
You want me to respond to that?
Oh, that's up to the
Yeah.
commissioner.
Certainly, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is right now. And I mean, you keep talking about policy argument we should make later. No, this is the hearing right here. I can make my own policy argument. My policy argument is this is not economic development. Golf course wants to exist here. They should pay taxes. And multifamily developer can, there's 300 people there. They should pay property tax and contribute. And I don't see how this satisfies at least two of the findings of that required.
People should be paying property taxes. Sorry.
I think Matthew has shared that he thinks that because the project is being subsidized, there are no taxes being paid, but the residents, property owners, golf course, they are paying taxes. I think there's a misunderstanding of how that works. So
Can I respond to that? I mean, it's tax increment, right? You're setting the base assessed value January 1st, 2025, right? Assume the controller knows,
Yeah, I shared that exact scenario with you in our last meeting too.
Yeah. And I realize you didn't get my public comment that I wrote, so you didn't understand. I already know all this. But I mean, it doesn't get reset after you build this giant apartment complex, I'm pretty sure. It's everything from now on is all those improvements are part of the tax increment, right?
But the tax increment, it does get assessed. That's where you get the tax
Correct.
increment. It is assessed. The taxes are paid by the developer.
Yes.
Those taxes are then used to pay debt service on the bond. So you can say, but it is not accurate to say that people are not paying taxes. This is
Okay.
not an abatement. Taxes are being paid. As far as going back to the legalities of the documents you have before you, as Mr. Brands mentioned, this has gone through the process, including the Plan Commission. So that body has made its determination. It's now before you to decide whether you agree and you're ready to approve the confirmatory for the financing. As far as what is being financed under Indiana law, people have different perspectives on how money is used. Of course they do, but under Indiana law, the documents you have in front of you have been publicly noticed correctly. They are correct documents for this type of project, and the project is an economic development project.
I clarify one last thing. So, yeah,
That's, we need to have the permission.
Yeah, go ahead.
let me speak. So yeah, I'm skipping over a step there. They do pay taxes. Of course, it's part of the tax increment, so it's pledged to the bonds. And it can't go to the city budget, the county budget, school budget. Whereas if somebody just goes and builds an apartment building, all those taxes go to the municipal government, the county government, the school government. So in effect, they are not paying into the budgets. They're not paying taxes as a normal person would say someone is paying taxes. Of
I
course,
think what you're trying to say is the tax rate, the incremental revenue is not going to the same pot that the normal taxpayer, where their taxpayers.
Correct. That's what I'm trying to say.
And I think we all understand that.
I'm, city's trying to confuse the issue.
Any other comments from the public on the proposed resolution?
First of all, thank you for coming up here. So,
Yeah.
I had concerns. Thanks for coming up and echoing them. I guess I'm still looking at it from the standpoint of if Megan said there were two projects and one of them is a big commercial project, and one of them is a residential, that's one thing. But here we're sitting on a piece of property has had no activity other than the golf course. Church as the day was built, they tried to put a church there. That would have been a nonprofit, which would never have
Taking it
generated
off the tax.
revenue, taking something off the revenue, tax revenue. So at some point in time, though they will all be paying taxes, that will 20 years down the road or whenever the bond's paid off. So, I guess I don't argue with you about it, but I don't been here long enough and been around the city long enough that certain pieces of property can be used for multiple things. I don't see this one becoming a whole lot different going forward than being proposed right now. To me, it is economic development. So that's just my opinion.
Comments or questions from the members? Any other comments or questions from the public? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. I think procedurally, the next item here is because this is a declaratory resolution, we need to have a motion on the resolution. I'll move
For the resolution?
Second,
Those in favor of adopting the preliminary resolution, which is the first item on the agenda, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The resolution has been adopted. Moving on, item number 2 is the resolution of the City of Fisher's Economic Redevelopment Commission pledging certain tax exempt revenues from the Gray Eagle Golf Course allocation area to the payment of economic development revenue bonds of the city of Indianapolis, specifically Series 2025B bonds.
So since we have these allocation areas that are now created, we're pledging the increment that's going to be generated within that development or within that allocation area towards the repayment. So for this item and then item C, which is the same for the multifamily, where now that we have those allocation areas, we're just like pledging the.
And those, yeah, they're split just for their ease of the multi parties involved. And so you guys will see that there's the not to exceed the 750 and the 7 million. So it just helps keep it cleaner between those various entities. And you guys, I think we've talked about it, them being developer purchase bonds. All the risk is on the developer, as you guys are aware, that type of deal.
Questions or comments from the members on the proposed resolution for pledging of the taxable revenues? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on the resolution.
I'll second.
In a second. Those in favor of adopting the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution has been adopted. Third item, similar resolution, this is with respect to the pledging of the certain tax increment revenues for the Gray Eagle multifamily allocation area to payment of the economic development revenue bond. City of Fisher, typically Series 2025C bond. I think as you previously commented, this is just the second half of the pledging of those taxing revenues. Comments or questions from the members? One, how about a motion?
I'll move.
I'll second.
A second by Damon. Those in favor of adopting the resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Resolution's been adopted. Next item on the agenda is a resolution of the Fishers RDC making preliminary determination to enter into an amendment to lease with the Fishers Redevelopment Authority and approving matters related thereto. This is specifically relating to the State Road 37 project.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about this one. This is, as mentioned, related to the 37 project. So this is the public hearing piece. You guys will see this again. You guys are familiar with the structure. This is a lease financing structure used all around the state of Indiana. It is therefore not direct debt of the city. It becomes the debt of redevelopment. So this is the structure that we've chosen for the State Road 37 project, specifically the bond anticipation notes that are related to the 131st Street and 135th Street interchange. So at the time when we did that, we did a ban for those. The plan was to do a ban for that piece and then the 141st piece, and then roll them and permanently finance them together. That did not come to fruition due to some issues on 141st. So this 131st piece and 135th piece is the only ban outstanding. And so we need to go and permanently finance that. So what this action does is allow us to start taking the steps to permanently finance that piece of the State Road 37 project. And in addition, allow us to include in the bond ordinance some other potential projects around the city to get the not to exceed maximum lease payment for the city. So that's what you guys see today. Happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Just for the benefit of, because we're going to have a public hearing on this, for the benefit of the public, explain what the acronym BAN means.
Bond anticipation note. So just it's kind of a short-term financing mechanism.
Sure. Okay. Any comments or questions from the commission members? None?
None.
All right. We're not going to be voting on this resolution because this is just a preliminary determination. So we will proceed with the public hearing. Are there any members of the public that wish to address the proposed resolution with respect to entering into a lease with the Fisher's Redevelopment Authority on the State Road 37 project? All right, hearing no comments or questions from the public, we'll close the public hearing. This will again come up at a future meeting. Last item we have, action item we have on our agenda today is the resolution of the City of Fishers Commission authorizing the execution of a lease with the Fishers Redevelopment Authority and the Fishers Redevelopment Commission and related matters. This is specifically on the Fishers Community Center project.
Yeah, so this is, like I said, just the lease financing mechanism related to the Fishers Community Center, which will be, should be finished here in early fall. So we're kind of getting a start on that financing piece of it. As mentioned, it's the lease structure. So there is the enter into the lease. So you guys have seen this. You had the preliminary determination back June 2nd. You had the second preliminary determination on June 9th. And then the Redevelopment Authority approved the lease on their meeting on June 9th also. So with your approval, then this will move forward to City Council tonight for their approval. And if they will approve, we will move forward with the execution of the lease with the not to exceed lease rental payments that were referenced in the document of about 5.7 million. And this project and all of its financing implications have been considered in our fiscal planning for the city for a number of years. We've talked about it kind of each budget session and season that we've had the past couple of years since we started the community center. So no impact on the tax rate to do this financing, but ready to get the community center open and moving for people to enjoy.
Yes. Let's get it open and moving.
Yeah.
Questions or comments from the commission members on the proposed resolution? We'll be opening the public hearing. Any questions, comments? No. All right, we'll declare the public hearing open on the proposed resolution for the authorizing the execution of the lease between the Fishers RDC and the Fishers Redevelopment Authority on the community center project. Are there any members of the public here that wish to address the proposed resolution? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and we'll entertain a motion on the resolution. A motion. Second by Dan. All right, those in favor of adopting the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Any other new business to be addressed, Megan?
No, while we were sitting here, I checked back in with, our PR and IT teams. Looked like, the public comment was submitted by, Matthew on July 19th at 1:07 PM. I'm happy to share that. Jennifer or Chris, from a legal perspective, since he was here, I think if we want to allow him to read these comments, or since he provided them, or am I able to, can I read these comments?
Well, I think the question is, and to be clear, the public hearing is closed, so this is a special accommodation, but we do want to make sure that Matthew feels like he's been heard. Do you want us to go back through these? Do you want to go back through them, or would you like for us just to submit them to the members? Because also too, I mean, the law does not require us to provide these out to you all. They're submitted to the body, not to you individually. But Matthew, how do you want those to be handled since you're here?
I think they already voted, so what does it really matter? If it's provided to the body, doesn't mean you have to give them to them at the start of the meeting. I mean, I think there's some serious problems there, but no.
Well, hopefully you had an opportunity to cover, so we certainly invited you to do so. So hopefully that is.
You should read it though. Well, if you don't mind, it's just me. Since he went to all the trouble to submit that information, and I would like to see it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Even though it's-
it's a matter of transparency. If you could just send it to all the commission members, I think that would be perfect.
The ID department.
A box wasn't checked next to my name, I guess. Share that with everyone.
No new business, I take it then?
No.
To be addressed?
I think we have a week as well.
Next Monday.
28.
Okay, well, having no further business, no old business to discuss, so I'll declare the meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you for attending.